our America First agenda are 3 words, so important. These are so important. They solve so many problems. Are you ready? Jobs, jobs, jobs. That's why at the center of my economic plan is a tax cut for small businesses down to 15% from 35%. Business will flourish. Jobs will pour into our country, and new ones will be created, and I mean created all across the land. We're going to create jobs. 35%. We're one of the highest taxed nations in the world, if not the highest. And we're going to be one of the lower taxed nations in the world. There are over 600,000 Hispanic-owned businesses here in Florida. Hillary Clinton's plan would smother them with new regulations, drive up their electricity bills, and then raise their taxes to as much as almost 50% higher than they're paying now. Family-owned businesses would take a second hit with a 45% death tax. So that you have a business, you want to leave that business to your children, you've been paying taxes all your life on that business, and now the children have to pay so much that normally they have to either sell the business or close it up. It's not a fair tax. More in Florida than anywhere else because you have so many family businesses that cannot afford to pay a death tax. A Trump administration will be a true friend to small businesses and to all working Americans. That I can tell you. That means bringing down taxes, bringing down the price of energy, and bringing down job-killing regulations that cost our economy as much as $2 trillion a year. $2 trillion a year, remember. $2 trillion. Does anybody know what $1 trillion is? We got 2 of them. We're also going to dramatically simplify our very, very complex tax code. H in our block will be voting against Donald Trump. That I can tell you. Our current, and you understand that, our current tax code is so burdensome and complex that we waste 9 billion hours a year in tax code compliance. That will end under a Trump administration. Hillary Clinton wants to make taxes even more complicated and will raise taxes by $1.3 trillion on you and on everybody else. Her anti-energy regulations will be a tax hike on the poor. Your energy bills are going to go through the roof, folks. According to Heritage Foundation, by 2030, the Obama-Clinton energy restrictions will eliminate another 500,000 manufacturing jobs, reduce economic output by $2.5 trillion, and reduce incomes by $7,000 a person per year. That means you're making less money in 2030 than you're making right now. We've already done that 18 years ago. Right now, as a country, we have no growth. We have no growth. You saw that. A Trump administration will end this war on the American worker and unleash an energy revolution that will bring vast new wealth and power to our country. According to the Institute for Energy Research, lifting the restrictions on all sources of American energy will very simply increase GDP by more than $100 billion annually. We need that so badly. Add over 500,000 new jobs annually and increase annual wages by more than $30 billion over the next 7 years. It will increase federal, state, and local tax revenue by almost $6 trillion over 4 decades. Increase total economic activity by more than $20 trillion over the next 40 years. My energy plan will help put trillions of dollars back into our economy. We'll be able to fix up our military. We'll be able to take care of our vets. We'll be able to help you with your Social Security, which everybody else wants to cut to shreds. Now, with all of that being said, my all-time favorite subject, trade. How stupid are we to allow this to happen to us? Florida has lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA, a Hillary Clinton-backed deal. One of the worst transactions ever signed in the history of our country. Probably not as bad as will be proven in the future as this horrible, incompetent Iran deal, but we'll get to that a little bit later. That's another beauty. Honestly, these people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Florida lost 1 in 5 of its manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton and China, and he put China into the World Trade Organization, which was also backed by Hillary. Our trade deficit with the world is now nearly $800 billion a year. So we work hard, we work so hard, but if you don't have the right leadership at the top, you're sort of wasting your time because you're not going to get it done. Think of it. We have a trade deficit with the world of almost $800 billion. Like Bernie Sanders said, she has terrible, terrible judgment. Got no judgment. Look at what she's got. Folks, take a look at the emails. She's got no judgment. The good news is, if we win on November 8th, these jobs are coming back. They're all coming back. Here are 7 steps to bring back our jobs and create millions of new jobs. Number 1, I'm going to withdraw the United States from the Trans-Pacific Partnership talks, which have yet to be ratified. So, number 2, I'm going to appoint the toughest and smartest trade negotiators to fight on behalf of American workers so that we make great trade deals with other countries instead of incompetent and bad trade deals. We'll bring our jobs back here instead of having it. It's like a one-way bridge. It all goes out of this country. The only thing that comes into our country is drugs. They pour into the country, the cash pours out. We don't do anything right. We have such bad leadership. I'm going to direct the Secretary of Commerce to identify every violation of trade agreements that a foreign country is currently using to harm American workers, of which there are many. Because they rightfully think we're run by incompetent people. So I don't blame China. I don't blame Japan and Mexico and these other countries. They're getting away with murder, but if I were them, I'd be trying to do the same thing. I blame our leaders. I want us to be on the winning side. We will be on the winning side if you elect me on November 8th. I promise. I will then direct all appropriate agencies to use every tool under American and international law to end these abuses. We're being abused. Now, the worst abuse is China. I like China. I've made a lot of money with China, done very well with China. They're tenants of mine, their biggest bank in the world is tenant. Condos, deals, office buildings, Bank of America buildings, so much. I've done great with China. We can do great with China too. They have no respect for our country. They have no respect for our leadership. And we don't blame them. We don't blame them. We want to put ourselves in that position very soon. You watch. And they'll like us better than they do now. They don't like us. They're building a massive military fortress in the middle of the South China Sea that they're not allowed to do. They're doing that, and yet they're ripping us economically. We have tremendous power over China. Economic power. Tremendous. We don't do anything. They build and build and build. And they didn't get environmental impact statements when they decided to rip up the sea. They said, Sunday night, let's build. Monday morning, they were digging. A little different than our country, wouldn't you say? A little bit. A little bit different. Number 4, I'm going to tell our NAFTA partners that I intend to immediately renegotiate the terms of that horrible agreement signed by Bill Clinton to get a better deal for our workers. And if we don't get the deal that we want, which has to be good and has to make up for all of these years of abuse and lost time, then we will walk away, which is fine. I'm going to instruct my Treasury Secretary to label China a currency manipulator, the greatest in the world. Any country that devalues their currency in order to take unfair advantage of the United States and all of its companies who can't compete will face tariffs and taxes to stop the cheating. And when they see that, they will stop the cheating. I don't think our politicians even know what's going on. And they will stop, or we're going to take in one hell of a lot of money, I'll tell you that. I'm going to instruct the United States Trade Representative to bring trade cases against China, both in this country and at the WTO, World Trade Organization. China's unfair subsidy and its behavior is prohibited by the terms of its entrance into the WTO, and I intend to enforce our rules. That's all. Very simple. And they know it's coming. They've called a lot of friends of mine. They know it's coming. They say, what do we do? What do we do? If China does not stop its illegal activities, remember this, our trade deficit with China is approximately $505 billion a year. Think of it. $505 billion. Somebody said, oh, but you'll stop trading with China. I said, is that good or bad? You tell me. We have to straighten it out, folks. We can't have deficits of $500 billion. We can't have deficits, and we can start making things right here again, and it'll be very nice. And I'm going to use every lawful presidential power to remedy the trade disputes, including the application of tariffs. And I'll tell you, we're going to probably have to at least use them in some cases, because they have to understand we're not playing games any longer, folks. We're not playing games. If we take these steps, jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country. We can use the new money to rebuild our roads, bridges, and airports. Manufacturing is also a matter of national security. It's national security. Our manufacturing is being decimated. Decimated. We're not going to have manufacturing. I am so tired of seeing manufacturing buildings that employ thousands and thousands of people being turned into nursing homes. It's fine, but you know what? That's not, we have to build. We have to build, we have to manufacture. We need to build, produce, and create right here in America. Right here in America. Let me tell you a few more things that we're going to do. We're going to end government corruption. Hillary Clinton ran the State Department like a failed leader in a third world country. That's what it's run. It's run like a third world country. She sold favors and access in exchange for cash. She sold it. She sold favors, she sold access, and wait till you see when it's revealed. All of those people, now it looks like it's 50% of the people that saw her had to make contributions to the Clinton Foundation. Wait till you see ultimately what she did for all of those people. Wait till you see. These are not people that go in, as I said, and talk about how are you feeling. The people she met with outside of government. The people she met with outside government, Secretary of State, so many of these people made contributions. She even deleted 33,000 emails to hide evidence of her crimes. It's impossible to tell where the Clinton Foundation ends and the State Department begins. She then lied about her crime to Congress over and over again. She lied to Congress. I don't know if Congress is going to do anything about it, folks. I'm so sick of looking and seeing, and I hear reports they don't do anything. Congress ought to act. She lied to Congress 100%. Everybody agrees, and it takes so long for them to act. By the time they act, you're going to say, what was it? You won't even remember what happened. Let Congress act today. Let Congress act immediately. The FBI did not act. I have such respect for the FBI. I am so disappointed. I am so disappointed. I've loved the FBI. I have such high regard, high respect for the FBI. How did they let that happen? She was so guilty. She was so guilty. The world is laughing at us, folks. And then you have Bill Clinton meeting with the Attorney General in the back of an airplane for 39 minutes. And he said they were talking about golf and their grandkids. Give me a break. And very importantly, Bill Clinton, after all of that, and after the beautiful gift he was given, Bill Clinton essentially called the FBI director, James Comey, a liar when he said the FBI director was spouting bull. Can you imagine? Man, they don't realize that they owe the FBI director their political lives for refusing to recommend prosecution for Hillary Clinton's many, many crimes. And then he calls the director a liar. He saved Hillary Clinton from facing justice for her illegal and corrupt actions. They were illegal and they were corrupt. And the FBI saved her. And I would imagine many people within the FBI are extremely embarrassed. Extremely. Remember, Bill Clinton was impeached for lying and obstructing justice, and also had to give up his law license. People forget. Hillary Clinton created an illegal private email server, deliberately, willfully, and with total premeditation. Premeditation. Could be the first way was right, actually. You know, I might like the first way better. Pre-medication, that's a very... Pre-medication, I think I like it. Pre-medication. I love that. She did so to cover up a vast pay-for-play scheme. Her actions made our enemies vulnerable to foreign hacking, and we are vulnerable. That's what's happened. We've become so vulnerable to foreign hacking and betrayed the security and safety of the United States, our military, and all of our people. Her actions are criminal, they're purposeful, and they're totally calculated. She knew what she was doing.